Good afternoon. You're listening to the new WCEG Network on WCEGTalkRadio.com. Click live stream, Facebook, or watch on live smart TV on YouTube. I'm Damita Chatman, your host of the show, Stand Up, Take a Stand. For the next hour, we're the Worldwide Community Empowerment Group. We're the talk show that speak life into the community. Live on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and on Instagram at WCEG Talk Radio and at WCEG Network. Last but least, the topic and the opinions are the hosts and the guests, not WCEG Network. Thank you for continuing your support. I want to thank the mayor, the city manager, and the assistant city manager of the city of South Fulton. I'm going to start with Mrs. Jones and let her just give a 2-minute introduction of herself. Mrs. Jones.
Thank you, Ms. Chapman. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm just so honored to have the opportunity to join your radio show on today. Tammi Jones is my name. I am originally from Jackson, Mississippi. I attended undergraduate school at Tougaloo College in Mississippi and got my master's degree in public administration from The Ohio State University. I have been in local government for over 20 years. I started out my career working for the city of Columbus, Ohio. From there, I worked at the city of League City, Texas, which is a suburb of Houston. And from there, I was the assistant town manager for the town of Berlin, Connecticut. And then I came to Georgia in 2009. I joined the city of Smyrna, where I was the assistant city administrator for 7.5 years. And I was the city administrator for 3.5 years up until September of last year. And then I left there and I came to the great city of South Fulton. I am so glad to be here. I'm honored to work with Mayor Edwards and the entire city council members and the staff. The council appointed me as its permanent city manager on December the 8th. And I'm very, very glad to serve in this role and serve the citizens of South Fulton.
Thank you, Mrs. Jones. Thank you so much. We're going to hear from the assistant city manager, Mr. Toms.
Thank you. Much like Ms. Sadler Jones said, I'm very appreciative of being here in the city of South Fulton. I'm still learning the streets and the names of everyone, but everyone I've met so far has been nothing but welcoming, and it's been my pleasure working here. I have experience in 3 different states. I've worked in state government out of the state of Florida, local government in Virginia, and also have worked for several cities throughout the great state of Georgia. And, you know, right now, this is becoming my favorite right here in South Fulton. I love everything about it. I see a lot of opportunity in the future and a lot of good elected officials paving the way for a bright future. So I'm just going to keep it short and sweet and just say how great it is to be here.
Thank you, Mr. Toms. Now I'm going to hear from the mayor of the city of South Fulton, Mr. Edwards.
Well, good evening, everybody. I think everybody should know me by now, but just in case you don't, I'm Mayor William Bill Edwards. I was South Fulton's first mayor, and this is my 4th term. I mean, not my 4th term, my 4th year, my 1st term. And it's been a pleasure to work for the people in South Fulton County. And I guess you heard from Ms. Sadler Jones and Mr. Don Toms. And I'll tell you, we have been very, very blessed in the city to have the kind of talent that we have here today. It's been a great experience working with the 2 of them. They bring a lot of experience to our city. And you know, someone asked me about the loss of our other city manager, and I had to ask the question, did you feel anything strange? Did you lose anything? And I don't mean that negatively, but no, I mean, the city went on. I mean, it was a smooth transition. They have taken the reins, and now it's time for our city to reboot, Ms. Chapman, and do something in the future that's going to be great for this city.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna go into the questions. I got them on my phone, so if I be looking down, I'm reading the question. This question is going to be, and I want you guys to relax. We're gonna have some fun. This question is going to be for the city manager. What have you been able to tackle or accomplish over the first 100 days in the city manager position?
Great question. A lot of things. And first of all, I'll say that I couldn't do any of those things without the help of the staff and the support of Mayor Edwards and the elected officials. But we have several key projects that we are working on, particularly I'll refer to our URA, our Urban Redevelopment Authority. We have some projects, capital projects that we are doing. We're going to be renovating some of our facilities, working in our parks, making some land acquisitions. In the process, we have appointed a new contracted project manager that will help us see those things through. So we have started that, and we are very, very proud of that. We have some new key positions that I'm in the process of interviewing and trying to get those filled. We're trying to make sure that we continue to have the dynamic staff of people that we have here in the city of South Fulton. I want to continue that by bringing in some new and experienced individuals to fill some key positions that we have. And then also, we're working on our strategic plan that the mayor and council approved back in 2019. We're trying to work on trying to get many of those things started because we want the citizens of South Fulton to know that we hear them and that we are going to accomplish the things that we said we were going to accomplish. I am just so excited about the possibilities here. I'm excited about the great things that we are going to be doing. I'm excited about working with our citizens of South Fulton to let them know that we are committed to the things that we said we were going to do in the city of South Fulton. So that's just a few of the things that I'm going to be tackling over the next 100 days. And again, I can't do it without the very dedicated staff that we have here within our city administration.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to give this question to you too. There appears to be a lot of turnover in the executive positions in City Hall. How will you stabilize that?
Well, I think the key is finding the right individuals who are qualified, who are experienced, who know their jobs and their responsibilities when they come into our organization. Anytime you have a change in administration, changes in other positions are going to be expected. And so I'm excited about the opportunity to be able to fill some of those key executive level positions that we currently have right now. And, I ask the citizens of South Fulton to have faith in me that I'm going to be putting the right people on the right seats of our bus.
Oh, thank you.
Ms. Chapman, can I say something about that? Very briefly.
Yes.
Over the years, we've been able to hire some outstanding people in their respective arenas. And because of that, they have made our city better. And once you'll find that in government, and both of these people can tell you that once you have that caliber of personnel, other cities, other counties, other governmental entities come after your people. Mm-hmm. And when they come after your people, they're going to be offering more money, a special type of opportunity for them. So I just want people to know that most of the people who have left us have left us because a better opportunity somewhere else for more money. And it's not the fact that we went around and wholesale fired folk. They left us because of the opportunity they had somewhere else. And we really honor that because it tells us the kind of people that we hired. It lets us know that we did the right thing when it came to personnel.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna give this to this question to Mr. Toms. The meetings have been historically ran long in the city. How will you and the mayor work to operate more efficient meetings?
Well, you know, what I found in the past is a lot of times meetings will run long because a lot of communication of upfront work hasn't been done. And I can't say that's always the case. You know, sometimes there's just a lot of questions. And I think instead of being focused on the time of the meeting, you know, start looking at the productivity of it and what's been accomplished. And I'm hoping as we move forward and learn the personalities of the elected officials, the requests of the citizens, we can become more focused on, you know, how things are presented and provide more information up front to maybe keep the meetings a little bit shorter. But I also don't want to lose focus that sometimes a long meeting is not a bad meeting if at the end of the meeting you get the outcome that everyone's happy with. So, you know, I've been involved in some communities that weren't very active and you didn't get the best outcome. So a community that asks a lot of questions up front, has a lot of participation, gives you a much stronger and better result at the end. So, you know, I'm going to work under the guidance of Mayor Edwards and elected officials and Ms. Sadler Jones, and just keep refining that process until we find that winning formula that, you know, everyone can be happy with.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Thomas, I got another question.
Yes.
The city inherited a lot of data, infrastructure from the county. What will you do to focus on what make sure we have addressed most pressing capital improvements that's needed?
Well, safety should always be the number one concern and priority of a city looking after the citizens. And yeah, you're right. There's a lot of infrastructure that needs a little love and attention. And I think we have the right staff in place to start looking at them and assessing them. But like everything, it's a matter of funds and revenue and money to fix it. So I believe what we'll do as a team approach is we'll start prioritizing the needs of the infrastructure. You know, what's going to be the most traveled area? What are some of the ones that are going to benefit the citizens? And look at those in the cost. And also, I really believe that one thing that Ms. Sadler Jones and myself will bring to the table is the experience on how much things should cost and the resources, maybe to find other resources, whether that is various bid processes or grants or other things to try to make it stretch the dollars, I guess I'm saying. So I think it's really a matter of priority and then the funding structure to get it done. But by no means am I ever going to look the other way if there's a safety priority. We need to address it and have open and honest conversation of how to find a solution.
Okay, let me ask you, I know they're going to be doing some roundabouts and it has been years and I think they started. Do you guys know when that project will start taking place on, especially on the one on Stonewall Tail and West Stubbs?
I don't have that information in front of me, but I believe a lot of those projects may be state-let projects through GDOT. And I know our staff is working hand in hand with them, but I certainly can obtain that information and get that posted on our website.
Okay, great. Okay, I'm going to, this is for the mayor and then you guys can chime in if you want to. What can the city do to address the overcrowding in the clubs on Old National Highway in particular? Will you send the fire marshal to close down these facilities when they reach a capacity? I believe the Governor Kemp executive order calls for these buildings to have 20% of their normal occupancy, but that is not being enforced in our city. So what we're going to do?
Well, I take a little issue to the fact that it's not being enforced, and I don't want you to think that it's an old national issue. It's a citywide issue.
Correct.
And I have been out there myself along with the police chief, and I think we've done a great job of calming the crowds down and letting the club owners understand that if you want to do business, you're going to have to go by the protocols. And we simply say to people, whoever you got in your club, just social distancing, wear a mask. We're not in the business of wanting to close clubs down. We've already closed one down on Old National Highway, and if push come to shove, for whatever reason, we're susceptible to actually closing the other ones down, or as many as we can if you don't want to comply with our city mandates. This is about, for the first time, it's not about profit over people. It's about saving lives. We cannot get ourselves out of this pandemic by overcrowding our nightclubs and restaurants, our parking lots. So we had to come in and do a lot of things, Ms. Chapman. And I can tell you right now, we have made a lot of progress on Old National Highway since we started what we call Old National. We've made a lot of progress over there, especially we're out there every night on the weekends. The fire department coming in, you got the police coming in, and I think the message has been made clear. Either you're going to comply with what the government wants, or we're going to make it a little difficult for you to have to do business in our city.
Okay, thank you. Although we are in a COVID-19, there is still need for residents to remain active. Does the city plan to open up any more parks for passage use?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question because myself and Mr. Toms met with our Park and Rec Director, Tony Phillips, on today. And of course, we want to eventually be able to do that, but we want to, as the mayor mentioned, put people first and make sure that it is safe to do so. We, do currently have our passive parks that are open. People can go out, they can walk, get some exercise. But, as far as our other city facilities, we're going to be very mindful of science and the data before we begin to do that.
Okay. Mayor, let's just talk about the roads and so forth. But some people don't understand that some roads you can take care of and some fall under the T-Splosh. So could you you guys address that?
Well, one of the things, one of the biggest infrastructure any cities can have is roads. And people travel those roads every day and they see how degenerated they are in some areas and things of that nature. A lot of times people call us or Mr. Toms or Ms. Sadler Jones and they say, well, we got a problem with potholes on Old National Highway. Well, we have a problem with potholes on Old National Highway too, but guess what? Old National Highway is a state highway. And I'll tell people most of the time how you can identify a state highway. They'll have an SR in front of their number, which stands for state road. Camp Creek is a state highway. All right. So it's very important that we jump. What makes it viable to us and important to us is that our people travel these roads and so communicate with state governments, DOT, and whoever, to make sure that we can repair those problems so that everybody can have the quality of life that you want. The other roads like Butner, Stonewall Tell, places like that, those roads are city roads. And we'll do whatever we can through SPLOST and whatever means we can to make sure those roads. We're gonna look at a lot of roads this year as we go toward our mid-year budget, because there are some roads that we are responsible for that could use some support, whether it be widening or whatever the case may be. And I think that's something that we're going to be looking forward to at our mid-year budget.
Okay, well, I'm gonna put you in the hot seat because you done been in my community and you done talked about my roads over here. So we're gonna leave that right there, Mayor. Okay,
Yeah.
this is to the mayor, then the city manager and the assistant manager can chime in. Where we are a large city and need a COVID-19 vaccination site in the city. Mayor Edwards, what will you do to bring that resource to the city?
Well, you know, we bought the testing site along with the support of Fulton County over at the amphitheater. Let me make some things clear, because I just had this conversation with Fulton County and the health department as recently as Friday.
Oh, wow.
There's a growing concern of people who are my age or older, or who have not been able to get the vaccine, who want the vaccine and things of that nature. And I kind of asked them, well, why don't you just bring another plant or station over here where we are? Well, it ain't that simple. First of all, we have to realize that there's a shortage of the vaccine itself. There's also a shortage of people to administer the vaccine. You know, we don't have a lot of nurses, and I understand that California is paying nurses out of big money. Relocate to California to administer the vaccine. So where we think that it's a good thing to do, and my thing when I talk to them, I want to have 2 days, just 2 days for everybody who's 65 and over, that they could come and get the vaccine. But there are some challenges when we talk about these things. What we have now is we have the location up at the Aviation and Cultural Center on Fulton Industrial Boulevard. That's the closest we have. But rest assured that Fulton County, myself, and others are looking at the possibility of bringing something closer inside the city of South Fulton.
Okay, great. And this can go to any one of you guys. What is the city's financial condition as of today, and how have they been impacted by COVID-19?
I mean, we're doing still very well. I mean, of course, COVID affects, cities across the country. Our revenues may be down in some areas, but for the most part, I mean, we still have a very a good budget. We have an adopted approved budget of $115 million. We are trying to do our very best and always want the citizens of South Fulton to know that we are consciously being good stewards of taxpayer money. And, we have tried to do our very best through CARES Act funding that we receive from Fulton County, the city of South Fulton. We received $4.1 million. And of that money, we were able to use it towards rental and mortgage assistance for those citizens within our city limits that have been negatively affected by COVID as a result of job loss and things like that. We were also able to put money towards our businesses. We did a small business grant. And then we were also able to even assist our employees, those who had to work during this COVID experience and were put in hazardous conditions. And we named it the gladiator pay. So we were able to provide compensation to our police, fire, code enforcement, public works, and some of our other employees that were considered eligible as a result of the gladiator pay policy that the mayor and council approved several months ago.
Let me paint this picture for you.
Okay.
As we talk about that, when COVID hit, and there was a need for PPE and other things to protect our people, no one gave us any funding for that. That came right out of our pockets, just to protect. And you understand that nowhere in our budget did it say PPE, because we didn't know. Did it say COVID, because we know COVID was coming. All right. But we pulled out our pockets to make sure that our people was protected. That's number one. Number two is, during this whole COVID process, we have not laid off not one employee nor furloughed not one employee. Mm-hmm. It tells you how great a stewards we are with the public funds. Now, lastly, you heard Ms. Sadler talk about the CARES money, the CARES Act money. I want you to know that's something that didn't come easy. We had to fight for that $4 million because of the fact that we needed that money to reimburse us for what we had spent already to keep our city going.
Who did you have to fight?
Yes. And so we had to fight.
You didn't answer my question. I said,
What was
who
that?
did you, I said, ask, who did you have to fight?
I was getting there because I knew you were going to ask me. So here's the deal. Here's the deal. And you need to know this, that when the federal government sent the CARES money out, and I think it was $100-something million, Ms. Sadler Jones, for the state.
Yes.
And the money came from the federal government to the state government. The state government then gave the money to the county government. Now, there was nothing in that document that said that the county government had to give it to anybody. Unfortunately, I don't know why that happened, but unfortunately it did. So the county, after some conversation, decided to give us, when I say us, I'm talking about 14 cities. 14 cities decided to give us $2.4 million. Now, when you take that $2.4 million divided between 14 cities, that's nothing. All right? So this is the first time, Ms. Chapman, that 14 cities have come together to say no. So they went back to the drawing board, and I think they came back with something like, what was it, 5 point something? It was 5.4, I think. And we again said no. Because when DeKalb County got their money, they immediately allocated $30 million for the municipalities. Here's why. If you don't know how many people are in Fulton County government, let me tell you, it's 500. The rest of the people are in cities. So when you went to the federal government to get this money, it was based on population. Who was that population? It was us. So why should we have to fight you to get our money? But we finally went in there again, and they decided to give us $50 million. Was it right? Am I right, Ms. Sadler? I think it was $30 million.
Okay. Yeah.
To all 14 cities, and 25 of that million was in cash, and 5 million was in PPE. So that's how we had, a lot of times we talk about these things, but you don't know what we go through to get where we are today. And so this city has done well in managing what they have. And we hope that any other money comes through, that it's a direct allocation to the cities. That's what we need. Direct allocation to the cities based on population and not to the county or the state.
Thank you so much on that. And that'll give, I think that will give residents, especially in the city of South Fulton, because I applaud you doing that for the employees. So thank you. The next question is, what job positions does the city council oversee per the city charter? That's for Mrs. Jones.
Well, per the city charter, it would be my position, the municipal judge, and if I'm not mistaken, Mayor, I believe the city attorney. I think those are the three. Yeah.
That's correct.
Okay. Okay.
All other positions report directly to me as the city manager. In my role, I run the day-to-day operations of the city, and I have, those department heads that manage, police, fire, public works, communications, community development, and regulatory affairs. We have of course, a Parks and Recreation department. I'm sure I may be missing some, Don, so you can pop in and help me out here. But, all of those finance department, all of those positions report directly to me. And Don Toms, as the assistant city manager, he has some direct reports under him, and he assists me in managing the daily operations of the city.
I was just going to add the city clerk also.
City clerk, yes.
Okay.
Most people look at us and say we're what we call a weak mayor form of government. That is not what we are.
Okay.
We are a city council, city manager form of government. And I say that because I want to make it perfectly clear. city council make policy.
Mm-hmm.
Ms. Jones and Mr. Tom, they run the city.
Right.
All right. Except for those 2 or 3 people they just talked about that the city council is also responsible for. But I want to make that very, very clear. I'm not a weak mayor form of government because of the fact that in my capacity as mayor, I am the voice and the face of the city, but I do veto and I do vote. In case of a tie, I do have a vote. So that is not what a weak form of government, a weak mayor form of government does. I want to make that clear because I hear it all the time. This
Right.
is a city manager, city council form of government.
Okay. Okay, and this is for you guys also. You can each one of you can take and say, how have the changes made to the charter by the General Assembly changed the way the city operates? I'm gonna give that to Ms. Jones first.
I mean, we're still a full service city. We're still, operating every single day. I would say, it hasn't affected anything, and from my perspective. I mean, we still, do the things that we're supposed to do as a city government. We, continue to try to make things very available and try to be transparent to our citizens of South Fulton. I mean, every single thing that I would say that they would need is right at their fingertips. We have a dynamic website that they can go to. We have a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week call center. If citizens have issues, if they have a pothole, they can do See, Click, Fix app. They can also call the call center that I was just making reference to. I mean, we try to continue to do all of those things. And the fact that there have been changes in the charter, that hasn't changed the way we operate. We still are focused on being a world-class city that is providing world-class customer service.
Thank
So
you.
she is absolutely correct with her short time being here. But let me clarify it a little further as we talk about charter changes.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather call them clarifications.
Okay.
Language in the charter, clarification of the intent of the lawmakers to the charter. You are very much a part of this city becoming what it is, Ms. Chapman.
Thank you.
Know that during the legislative process of day one, that our charter requirements didn't look like any other city. But the legislature said, if we're going to pass this, you're going to have to do certain things that comply with other cities. Our people said, our delegates said, okay, let's get it passed. And if there are some issues that we need to deal with, we'll deal with them later. All right. Now, let me tell you what I mean when I say clarification. So we knew that going in, we knew that there was going to be some clarifications going to have to be made over the years. Give you a classic example. There was something in the charter that said that the mayor had the right to veto certain things. One paragraph defined what those things were. The next paragraph took one of the categories out, and that was the category that talked about resolution. But in the first paragraph, it said that you could veto a resolution. That's not a change, Ms. Chapman. That is an ambiguity in the law.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have an ambiguity in the law, you must go to the intent. So the intent was the state capital. So we took it back and said, what do you mean? Either it's going to be, I got this or I got that. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Not a change. This is a clarification. All right. That's what they did. And because of that, she is absolutely right. She's been with us a small time now, and she can tell you, she don't worry about changes in the charter. We still going on doing business as usual as we did from day one.
Thank you. Okay, let me ask you this. What other changes do you see taking foresee under the dome in these next 40 days dealing with the city of South Fulton?
Well, I can see several ways in which we're gonna have to work together to get things done. We're gonna have to work together in terms of transportation, equity in transportation. And I mean that wholeheartedly, because while we think about the potholes and stuff of that nature, we got to make sure that whatever we get is as good or as better as other parts of this city or in other parts of this state. And we have a real big problem in this region when it comes to equity in terms of what we get. I think that during the COVID, I would like to see our legislators, especially the ones who are in our area, uphold this idea of direct compensation to municipalities. Even the new law, as it comes out of the Biden camp, it still does not give the direct compensation to municipalities. It still doesn't do that. And we need to make sure that our people are on board. The other thing is the legislature always says we need to do certain things during the pandemic. Some of those things come off as unfunded mandates. And by what I'm saying, unfunded mandates, the government wants you to, state wants you to do something, but you ain't got the money for it. And they ain't giving you money for it. So, unfunded mandate. And so I think that as it pertains to COVID and things of that nature, I think there's some things coming down the line. I'm just talking with GMA today, and they were talking about, Ms. Jones, about the new things coming down in terms of law enforcement, things of that nature, but they never said that who's going to give us the money to do all these things. So unfunded mandate that's going to be coming down. So Ms. Chapman, I think things like that are things that we're going to have to work very, very, very close with our legislators, and those things will change over a while. We have our legislative agenda. It's already in there. It's not as, we're not asking for a whole lot. They did our other legislative agenda because as a city, we're beginning to progress and do things a little differently. But those are kind of the things I'd like to see the legislature do.
Okay, great. Okay, this is the next question that someone sent to me. What are the steps to bringing a hospital to our city? This has been a request since the city incorporated.
I guess I'll tackle that one too. I get that all the time. Now, let me just say this though. Prior to COVID, Georgia lost 8 hospitals. Belly up, gone. And because of that, it was kind of hard to get a hospital. And I think Mr. Toms and Ms. Jones can attest to this, to get hospitals in cities because of the financial strife that hospitals was in. So now you couple that with a COVID situation. And you don't really realize that we're not going to be entertaining this idea of hospital. COVID has taught us a lot, but we're not going to entertain this issue of hospital until this disease is over. I understand that we need to have these things. We're not the only city or only municipality in this region who have to answer that question in some way. But I want hospitals. I think that having a medical center or hospital adds to the quality of life for the citizens which you're in. So it's not like that we turn our backs to the idea. It's going to be a matter of funding, getting somebody to say, okay, let's do it. And then, matter of fact, one of our nodes that we have today that we're going to put the city hall in, it has on the node a site for a hospital. We have to bring that. We have to make sure that site becomes a reality.
Okay, and I know Mayor Edwards and City Manager, it's a lot of talk about warehouses, and I understand that we live in our city is attached to Union City and Fairburn, and we have to pass them. So have you, as the mayors, have you sat down with the other mayors like Mayor Williams, the East Point mayor, and kind of sit down and talked about the warehouses? Maybe you talk about work, live, and play warehouses, something like that. I think if you kind of fix them up, that when you pass them, they don't look like warehouses. And I understand they're in another city, but have you sit down and discuss that? Then another thing, have you thought about, instead of bringing, and I know that bring tax revenue to the city, with the warehouses, you don't have to pay for that sewer. They're paying for all of that. It's some benefits, but then it's some drawbacks also. So have you thought about, because anything that we have to do, we have to go into the Atlanta or up on the north side. Have you guys thought about bringing something for the kids, for the family, something like a Dave and Buster's on that corridor? Talk to the mayor. Maybe y'all can bring something, work for the kids. My thought process was, you building all these warehouses, we got to go to Marva to shop, and up at Gwinnett to the warehouses. Thought about putting the outlet over there. I'm just asking the question.
Well, you asked a lot. Let me see if I can handle some of that. And matter of fact, what was your first one?
Oh, I didn't forget. You know, when I
Yeah, well, no. Let's talk about warehouses for a minute.
Okay.
And about our ability to work collaboratively together as leaders of municipalities.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to know that at least once a month, the 8 mayors of South Fulton meet. All right, we used to meet together. Now we got to do the Zoom thing, but we do meet to talk about issues and to talk about how we can work together to make the region a better place. So I want to make that clear. Have I talked to Vince Williams? Let's see, about 5 hours ago. I talked to Mayor Williams. Let me just say this. I'm not the mayor of Union City. Nor is Ms. Sadler Jones or Mr. Jones the assistant manager. I cannot tell a city what they can and cannot do within their jurisdiction. But I can appeal to the better part of you. Mm-hmm. That what you're doing is hurting what I'm doing, and not only my city, but a lot of other cities. All right. And probably hope that you would take that in consideration as you do your zoning in your city. Mm-hmm. That's about all I can do. Now,
I agree with you.
The other thing is this. Cities have their own zoning. Union City zoning is different from ours, and they're probably different from Fairburn. But I want you to understand one thing about us. The city of South Fulton is not against warehouses. Yes, they make a lot of tax money and things. We are not against having warehouses, but I'll tell you this. We're going to scrutinize where we put it. See, a warehouse on Fulton Industrial Boulevard is where it needs to be. Mm-hmm. But a warehouse next to your community over there is probably not a good idea.
Nope, and we ain't gonna have it.
So we're open for business for anything. It's just that, you know, the way our land use plans are going to be done, the way our zoning is going to be done, we're not going to put warehouses next to our residential because it impacts their quality of life. This mayor will fight for that till the day he dies. Now let's go over to the children you were talking about. Why we don't have a Dave and Buster's? Why we don't have this? I'm gonna give you the same story that the same answer I've been saying for when I became commissioner in 2000. Yeah, 2000. A robust economic development tactic is very simple, Ms. Chapman.
Okay.
And I told you this before. Mr. Toms and Ms. Jones, they've been in business a long time. They can tell you. A robust economic development strategy has nothing to do with a 20-page document that shows what kind of things you want to have in your economic development, what you need to get it here. It can be boiled down to two things. One, crime. Two, education. Nobody's going to move to a place where the children cannot be educated, nor they feel they can't be safe. That's a proven fact. And when you have a handle, when you have a handle on those two things, then comes in your residential, a residential that you ain't never seen before. It'll come in. Now, while you got that, here comes your Dave and Buster. Here comes all those things that you talked about. All right. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing on Old National Highway. That's why I believe the Old National Highway is one of our most profitable corridors, and we never can get it off no place if we don't take charge now. Because nobody is going to go there. You can't put a Dave and Buster's on Old National, but we should be able to. So until we lay the groundwork, until we lay the foundation that would allow us to bring in those types, I want our children to have a good time. I want our children to have some place to go. Well, let me say this to you, and I'll let them talk. There's a place they can go if you want to take them. Guess where it's at? Park. Do you know we have everything in our parks program? From basketball to playing the violin, to acting classes, to arts and craft. But here's been the problem. Most people want us to pick the kid up and bring him to the facility.
I believe that.
And then we bring them to the facility. They don't want to be on time to pick them up. But all these classes, I can tell you right now, all these classes and opportunities for kids to learn and do something, none of them are ever filled. They're never filled. So that we have opportunities for our children if you want to partake in that kind of deal. You can do. I mean, we got places up in our parks in areas like that where you can take graphic design. Probably as we go on further, I would like to see us in this city, is one of my things, see music is a big thing to kids. All right. I would like to see us in the future that we can even have our own music studio. Kids can come in and play with the keyboard and get some instruction on how to do things and produce music. We do all these things, but we have to make sure we lay the foundation for that.
Ms. Chatman, I was going to add, for the benefit of our residents, we encourage you to go to our website, www.cityofsouthfultonga.gov, go to our parks page and check out the things that we do offer for our residents and particularly our youth.
Absolutely.
Oh, great. Okay, we getting ready to close this out. I told you we was gonna have some fun. God, I don't even want y'all to get off, but I know y'all got to go back.
It's been fun.
Let me ask you a question in this. I know, Mayor, sometimes being the mayor, you getting criticized. I call them the trolls. The trolls is coming at you with fake information. I just saw an article was talking about, and I know it can be a personnel issue, and so you don't have to do all that. Yeah, they're getting rid of the CFO, and they did this. So sometimes I think when you put the facts out and put the fire out before it get tainted, I think that does justice, because everybody that sit at the table with you don't mean you're no good. And Mayor, you've been around this thing a long time, so you know how it do. So how do you guys kind of put out those fires that it's a lie? How do you deal with that kind of stuff?
Judge me by my enemies, not my friends. We got to keep working.
Yes.
You can't be sat. You know, those people are doing their job. Their job is to hate. Let them do their job. There's nothing you can do about it. You know, I didn't win this office with 100% of the vote. I won this office with 60% of the vote. Now, there was like 40% of people either don't like me or whatever the case may be that didn't vote for me. So, and I realized that. But I got to keep moving forward. I got to keep in the right direction for what I was sent here for. And that is to the quality of life for the people who I represent. And let me tell you this. I tell folks all the time, somewhere I read, be still and know. And so I remind myself of that every day. All I have to do is be still and move forward and know. And so and then I have a family that protects me and that talks to me, that loves me and things of that nature to take some of the rust off every now and then. And then I have great people like Sandler Jones and like Don Toms, and even like yourself, like you, who don't tell me everything I want to hear, but sometimes you get all right. But those things matter to me. I'm not gonna be swayed because I know the truth. I'm not gonna be swayed by all of that. Keep doing your job. You know, keep doing your job. You're probably good at it. I'm gonna keep doing my job, and hopefully those people who voted for me or look at our city or whatever the case may be will recognize, and from conversations like this, will recognize the outstanding job that we're doing.
Right. We're gonna give y'all some closing remarks, but I like to be fair and just tell the truth. And I said it yesterday. I gave one of your council applauded Mark Baker, Council Baker, and I'm going to say I've seen a change over maybe the last year. And I'm looking for us to move forward, not go backwards. And we are a work in progress. All of us still got a lot of growing to do, but I believe that if we stay on the path that we are on now, I think the city of South Fulton would be great. And I want to thank you guys. And I'm gonna give Miss Jones let her do her closing, and then we'll go on down the line, and the mayor be last.
Well, thank you again, Ms. Chapman, for the opportunity to spend this last hour with you. This has been great. It's been fun. It's always wonderful and pleasing to me to have the opportunity to talk about the great things that we're doing in the city of South Fulton. My hat goes off to Mayor Edwards and the city council. They have been really supportive of me and the things that I have wanted to institute during the short time that I have been here. And I'm looking forward to working in this organization for many years and helping to make South Fulton and continue to make South Fulton the place that people want to be. And you just made a comment that reminded me of one of my favorite African proverbs. And it says, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go with others. And so in order for us to take South Fulton to the next level, in order for us to reach those goals and expectations that we want to set out to do, we have to do it together. And so I, again, want to just say thank you for having the opportunity. And I look forward to coming back again one day and also, working with the citizens of South Fulton to make this the city that they desire for in regards to the best place to live, work, and play.
All right, Mr. Towns, before you come, someone just sent me a question, so I want to get that question in. And they was talking about what are you guys going to do about the sanitation issue that we have going on, and the upcoming elections. Do you have any seats that's going to be coming up during this year, Mayor?
Let me deal with the election part, and I'll let them deal with the sanitation.
Okay, great.
Yes, we have my seat is up. District 6, I think it is.
2, 4, 6.
2, 4, and 6 is up. So you got 4 seats that are up this election. Some people are now putting in their declaration for intent to raise funds, And so I don't know how many you're gonna have, but this is America, and these seats are not our seats. They belong to the people. And so we'll see how it comes out.
I just pray that it don't be 17 and 20 again, like when we first ran the city. So I'm gonna leave that right there.
They can talk to you about the trash, the sanitation.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, we know that there is a problem here. We have a lot of illegal dumping. We have a lot of litter issues. We are trying to work to address that. We're working with our contracted company, Jacobs, who are out with the Clean City crew in various quadrants of our city, picking up litter along the corridors. But we know that we have more work to do in that regards. Just today, the mayor and I were talking about an idea of trying to do a citywide cleanup because, as I just mentioned, it's gonna take all of us to address this problem. So we hope to be able to put some information out to the public very soon. Whatever we do, it's going to be in a safe setting. We want to make sure everybody is social distance, but doing their part to try to address the sanitation issues. And I hope you're talking about the litter issues and not the sanitation services.
Well, I'm talking about both. And I thank you for that. But let me ask you: have you guys thought about using low offenders that's in jail, like Douglasville do, and some more cities? But I do know Douglasville, and they got a clean city. Hats out to them. Just pick up the trash.
Well, I know our police chief has been in touch with our new sheriff, and I think it's my understanding they're going to be bringing back what I remember used to be called the chain gang to be able to help pick up litter along corridors. So we are looking into that as an option too. But, we want everybody to know that we are focused on trying to make sure we have a beautiful city of South Fulton.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Ms. Toms, you want to give our closing?
Now, I've heard so many great things today that I can just echo, but the one thing I want to say is there's a lot of moving pieces behind the scene. And, one question that I want to expand on is when you were asking about, giving the youth, the young people something to do in a Parks and Rec. And, we really want to open those facilities back up in a safe manner, but while they are currently closed, there's a lot of things going on, such as we're replacing equipment, we're replacing broken pieces on the playground, we're adding a fresh coat of paint, we're resurfacing our tennis courts. That way, once we are able to open safely, the public sees that we've been working this whole time and getting ready. So, it's a little bit of a blessing that we are able to have this time to work and do things safely, because a lot of times you're working around the people and the crowds, and this has given us some time to focus on once we bring people back, to bring them back safely and have a good opportunity to have everything nice and clean and ready for them to go. So I just want to say, there are a lot of things still going on, and we do need to do a better job getting that information out to the public. And we are currently re-upping our website to put more information on. So the information we are hearing, we're taking that and acting on it. Sometimes there's a little bit of a delay and a lag time, but we do hear what people are asking for and getting ready for it.
Okay. Well, you know what? It's almost over. I want to thank you guys for coming and taking your time out to address some issues. And I'm going to hold you to it. I'm going to bring you back in 6 months and let's do an update. Mayor Edwards, you don't have to worry about the mayors because we're going to do a round table with the mayors. Again, I want to thank all of you guys for coming. And I'm going to do everything I can on my part to make the city of South Fulton a better city, working with you guys. So again, I want to thank you for coming, and you guys have a blessed and safe day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.